welcoming I call them the millennial plus, because some of these people are not quite millennial, but they carry the spirit. Millennial plus panel. Please welcome Minister Charlie. Keep your hands clapping. Minister Olu. Mr. John Adeniyi. Mr. Ivy Braid. Mr. Ayo Sote. And Mr. Ade Ajayi. Let's welcome them. Come on, guys. Let's welcome them. Please keep your hands clapping. Amen. It's really, really wonderful to have godly young men who are holding up the banner and for Jesus and are an example for us. Please, let's clap for these men once again. Amen. So, I'm going to jump right in a slightly different order, I think, as the last time. So, why are men so scared of commitment? Discuss.
I think it varies from men to men. Like I think it's just a general statement. I mean, for me, I got married at 26. I knew what I wanted from a woman, and I went for it. And I think one of the things is you look at the responsibilities. You look at what it takes to be a man. And in this dispensation, this age, when women are pulling their weight, some men they're really scared. And going back to what was actually shared earlier, and for me, I said two things. For me, when I wanted to get married, there was two things I was looking for. Respect was one of them, and the second was peace. Without those two, I wasn't going to get married. And that was, obviously, there's the other side of the coin to say, you need to earn the respect. We can talk about all that all day. But that was what I was looking for. So in this dispensation, this age, I would say yes. On the other side of the coin, men can be scared. And that's the honest truth.
Thanks for opening that up, Minister Olu. Can we, yes.
Can I?
Yes, please, jump right in.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to add, I completely agree with Mr. Olu, but I also think it's not that men are always scared. It's because being a man is one of the most difficult jobs on earth. Being a man is one of the most difficult jobs on earth. You have a whole nation behind you that you need to lead. Someone said earlier on that being a man, you're a leader. You have a whole family that you need to lead and that you have to lead. And, you can, at some point, you can actually be scared of making certain decision and making certain commitment. So, yeah, that's what I can add to that.
Please, I want to hear more from Mr. John.
I also think one of the reasons why is because men want to be perfect. They want it perfect from the beginning. They want it all figured out, and they want to be in a certain place. And sometimes we don't realize that actually going on that journey and getting married leads us to that place. So sometimes we stall wanting to get there first.
The choir there. Wonderful. Any other? Actually, I would like to hear from every man on this topic.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, B. Hi.
The most difficult journey in life is a journey from becoming a man, from being a boy to becoming a man. And many men are expected to be men without having a father figure. Do you understand? And so men don't struggle to commit. Also, we can throw the question at women. But more importantly, we need to understand men are very internal, how they process problems. And during that process, you, like Ms. Ola said, you don't want that distraction. You need to understand that this thing I'm trying to work out and figure out, this is the right person to help me commit to that. And secondly, you only know as much as you think to an extent. Oh, sorry, my guy. we cannot know too much. So within the context of what we know, we try to make the decisions where we are at. So many times we may think it's the right time to commit, and other times it's actually not the right time to commit. As you go through that journey, you'll find the right time. And the other secret I'll drop here is this: when a man has a focus in his life bigger than himself, any purpose, anything you have in life bigger than yourself, that will set you in line, and that will then say, hey, I need to be disciplined. Hey, I need to find the right partner, the right helper. Then you begin to commit as that plan unveils.
Wonderful. Mr. Ade?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm going to allude to what John said. I did kind of feel like I needed to be in a certain place before I was going to commit to anybody. A lot of that was due to my personal experiences, kind of growing up, dating and so on. I was called all sorts of names, broke, waste, all of these kind of things were coming, and it made me kind of be a bit more recluse, a bit more selective, a bit more, okay, I need to be here before I can then take that chance. Another part of that was kind of looking around and not seeing women that were serious as well, not knowing what they wanted in life, just also seeing that a lot of them wanted to date made men made me think, okay, now I need to take my time to find one before this one takes everything and then runs away.
Wow. I've actually never heard that perspective before, actually. That is the man taking his time not to commit wrongly. Wonderful. Mr. Soter.
Well, I think everybody has said the most of everything I'm meant to say, actually. But in my own case, I'm one of the ones that stayed the longest to get married. I got married at 35.
Wow.
And it is because I don't take, I might look like a very jovial person, but I take certain things very seriously. I believe that as Christians, as children of God, we should be like God, that says this and it doesn't go back. You want to get married, this is a lifetime commitment. What doing is what doing well. So, first of all, I don't know, maybe it's a man ego thing. I was so sure I would become a millionaire before getting married. We are still on it. So that dragged so long. And then secondly, a mistake that I will advise the younger generation against is I kept looking for the perfect wife, the perfect woman, the one that doesn't have any mistake. Harriet, oh God. There is no perfect person. I realized I needed to deal with myself. I needed to deal with all those fears that I have. What you want from somebody, you must give first.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah, and if I could add this as well, sometimes it may appear that we're scared of making commitment, and it could come from our environment and where we grew up. For example, me, in the beginning, before I got married, I have to be honest, I was a bit scared. I was very scared. Not a bit, I was very scared because I was scared, and the things that were in my mind was because where I grew up, I would say the report is not always great. The report has never, most of the time, has never been great, even in my own family. So I had to go for counseling privately. I had to go for counseling. No one knew about this. This is the first time I'm saying it. And because I wanted to make something different. So that's what.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, just a really powerful session there. What do you say to women proposing to men? No, I just want to throw this in, and we won't spend longer than 3 minutes on this one. if your wife that you are married to now, because, yeah, this is a married, yes, we're all married here. What if your wife had proposed to you, as in the actual marriage proposal, what would your reaction have been? I'm just interested, just very quickly.
I would have taken the ring and proposed to her at the same spot.
Ah, wonderful. Okay, let's go with IB.
Jesus. Okay. It's a reflection of the times. I'm not keeping for too long. If my wife did that, I would know that she was making intentions clear. I'll now say, wait, let me buy a ring, and I wouldn't see her in any negative light because we've been together 10 plus years before we got married. But it's her way of saying, like, dude, here's a ring, let's do it. So I'll say, okay, I get it. I'll get you a ring and do it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Minister Olu.
Millennial plus. I mean, I never saw that coming, but
That's why I asked it, yeah.
the reality is, I mean, I'm a bit old school, so I wouldn't.
That's fine, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I can be old school, I can be new school, I can be millennial, but I wouldn't expect her to do that. And obviously that speaks of pressure. And I don't think a man would want that, in my opinion.
But isn't that interesting though? Because again, that may be an age spread thing. Because here the perspectives, one person is saying, I will, it's how it's processed. So two men so far have said, I will take it as, she's nudging me, not as a reflection of where she is at. Whereas I'm of the, Minister Olu, if my mum or my dad would, I just could, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't in my age. Okay, moving on. However, I understand it. So, Ade, what do you say to that? If your wife had proposed to you, how would you have processed that?
I probably would have been quite embarrassed. Thinking about how I did it, I asked her parents first in her hand, would she have called my parents to...
So embarrassed,
so
but not.
probably,
Would you have read pressure that she's under pressure into it, or would it?
I would have felt like she's more pressuring me into marriage more than anything.
Anything, okay. John.
To be honest, I think it's an awkward one. Just probably because from our forefathers, it's never really been like that. It's changing now, but it's still an awkward one. For me personally, I would always say it should be a man's responsibility because it shows his commitment and for him to level up and shows his intention. If that happened, my wife would never do it. She would just it's never out of there. But I would say to the woman to wait and encourage all ladies to wait because they have to wait for the man to level up and rise to that level. Okay.
And Mr. Shoten?
I think it's a very delicate topic. It's very dangerous to do. But there is a way that one can do it right. Because things are changing. We are getting to new generations, times that are not the same as the old times. So we cannot do things exactly the way you used to do it. I think that we men sometimes might not even know what we want. So if you've been dating somebody for so long, there is a very careful, delicate way. Hopefully the Holy Spirit leads you. If you approach the guy, not like really proposing, but like let him know, I love you, we've been together for very long, it's working well and so on. There is a way she can do it very rightly that the guy will understand that, okay, well, so I don't need to have 40,000 pounds to do wedding. I don't need to, you are ready for me, I'm ready for you. Let's get it on.
Amen. Mrs. Sote. Okay, directly from the floor, what advice can you give if you have been with a man for 5 years plus? You live together and have children together, but are not yet married. Marriage was the goal before, but things changed after having children. As a woman, I am losing patience. What do I do? Very quickly. Minister Olu.
I'm going to wave a little bit to a side. I have a different view on what marriage is in context, especially when it comes to traditional marriage. So in that, because a lot of us are here, most of our parents never did a white wedding, and a lot of emphasis nowadays probably is based on white wedding. But I'm on a different opinion. If they have done what is called a traditional marriage, for me, that is marriage. And a lot of us now, we're too focused on, oh, let's do the white thing. As long as the parents have been informed and you've asked the hand in marriage. What did Abraham do when he sent out the servant to go and ask for wife for Isaac? He didn't do a traditional marriage. He basically sent them out with gift and make sure they chose the wife. And for me, as long as the parents are involved and they've asked their hand in so-called marriage, I wouldn't oppose that. But in the context of them living together and you're eating the cake and the combo, it makes the man not want to commit. So
wonderful. Let's move swiftly on. What should a couple do, again from the floor, if the husband has had a long-standing affair, but the woman wants to honor God in the marriage? What should the woman, the question is, what should the woman do, or what should a couple do if the husband, so they're married, has had a long-standing affair, so it's gone on for a while, but the woman wants to honor God in the marriage? So it's, okay, just forget the phrasing of the question. That's the scenario. What do you advise? Or what comes to mind?
The simple answer is counseling. If both of you are dedicated to your marriage, if you have children, go for counseling and try to figure out why he was looking at other women and having an affair. And try and get to the root of the problem that way through counseling. And if it's something you've discussed, you've gone through that already, which is not implied in a question, and it still continues, then you should ask him that, dude, do you still love me? What's happening? But there's no point staying in a relationship with the intention of honoring God and suffering emotional abuse. It's pointless.
Any other contribution?
If I can add to that, I also think the woman needs to get her priorities right, what she actually wants. As Ivy said, there's no point of staying in a relationship, and especially if the affair is still ongoing. So there's no need to stay there. But you as a woman, you need to know what you want. Do you want to continue living like that, suffer emotionally, or do you want to sign out?
Okay, and at that point, there are many things that the Bible says about leaving or not, but now is not the time to delve into that, including 1 Peter 4:8, which talks about love covering a multitude. I think that deserves a whole session. What does that actually mean practically? Love covering a multitude of things. But let's park that, because otherwise our next 12 minutes won't be spent in the best way today. Okay, let's move on. You should submit to me too. And the Bible anchor, Ephesians 5:21. So what do you say to that, godly millennial plus men? Do you believe you should, another way of phrasing it, sorry, Mr. Shote, is, do you believe that you should also submit to your wives?
Yes and no. I think the most important thing the Bible says is, husband, love your wife. Wife, honor your husband. Respect your husband. It's such a big topic. I can't say everything I would have loved to say, but I think if everybody does their part, things will work out. the man you honor and you respect, just like men find it easy to love their children, it is because that child looks up to you. That child honors you, does not question your authority. You can find it easy to love that child like egg, like a flower, like something fragile. And if a woman honors and respects her husband, it makes it very easy for the man to do his own job, which is to love that woman.
Okay, so you're saying the woman first.
No. That's why I said everybody must
Play
must
their
give
part.
what you want. The man should not wait that because she's not respecting me. No.
Okay.
You have to train yourself to continue to love. We are all in it. I'm
Yes.
struggling with all
Yes.
those things.
Yes.
You have to train yourself to continue to love.
Clap for this man.
You
Yep.
have
Okay.
to train yourself to continue to love, and the woman has to train herself to continue to honor and respect.
Fantastic.
No man
Is-
wants a mother in the house.
Wow. On that note, actually, any contributions to that? Or I'll move on. In this group, I really want us to talk about finances and careers as well. But before we get to that, let's talk. I wish I had asked this of the mature panel. In-laws. I think that deserved a moment. What about the in-laws? What do you think is the right strategy, management for that? Ade?
Okay. You have to set boundaries in your marriage, in your relationship. I have a lot of family that love me. I've got my mum, she loves me very much. I have 2 sisters, I have aunties, and growing up, they were all very there in my life, very prevalent. But when you get married, she has to become the number one in your life.
Who is the she?
My wife, Tia, you know. So you can't just come to my house and act anyhow, like this is my son's house or this, you know. So once you set those boundaries and let your marriage be the first thing that comes to your mind when it comes to in-laws, things will fall into place, it will work out. But if you let people just come into your house and talk anyhow and act anyhow, then there'll be problems, of course.
Wonderful. Any contributions?
I think you also need to understand the family dynamics, spend time studying the family dynamics, and spend time studying the personalities of your in-laws, because every in-law is different. And to really work it, you need to understand their characteristics. And when you understand their characteristics, you understand how to navigate through the different...
Hang on. So actually, we're going to stay there a little bit. Back to you, John. When you say understand the dynamics and navigate, back to your leadership position as the man, do you believe that the man takes the lead in that navigation?
Yes. For me personally, yes. I do. But it depends again on the man as well. Because if the man is laid back and the wife is more of a choleric, more driven, it's different. However, I still believe the man should also, again, understand your stakeholders, because it still falls on your head. So understand it. Again, the strategy, and then again, I think it's very important. When I was going through our marriage prep, we had a big situation in our family. And I remember my mentor saying to me, understand the characteristics, but be ahead and make sure that your wife is on board with you. That between you two, there must be no divide. So even if my wife is leading, as long as we are agreed on this is the mission, this is the goal, even if that means you're ahead or I'm ahead, as long as we understand the end goal and we're on the same page, there can be no divide. It doesn't matter what angle they come at.
Wonderful. So, as men, why is it so difficult to admit when you're wrong? Again, a stereotype, but confirm it or challenge it.
I think, for me, I mean, I'm a typical example. When I'm wrong, I just keep quiet. and over time, and that's my personality. And over time, my wife has got to understand that when this man is wrong, you just go quiet. And that's it. So I think it's about understanding the person. Because some people, I think I had that saying last week, when I'm very, very upset, I just go quiet. That's just me. There's some characteristics I have that, you know what, she's just come to terms with that. You know what, this is a style of accepting to say, hey, I'm wrong.
And any contributions?
I think it depends on what's gone wrong. So if it's a trivial issue, you can talk about it and have dinner and whatever. But if it's a serious issue, you'd actually need to, because like we've all said, a relationship is a partnership. Head, leg, shoulders, doesn't matter. Your head and your heart do the same thing. It's true. And when you see it that way, you know that you're accountable to your wife and to your children. So if you make a decision out of ego and pride, which men have, which is a good thing, but that could be applied in a negative way, and you get something wrong, but obviously your intention was pure, make it clear, baby, I'm sorry, I got this wrong. It doesn't make you less of a man. It's a problem because we've come from families and institutions, including where we are, where people struggle to apologize. Apologizing doesn't make you weak. It makes you human.
Woo! Woo! And I'm really tempted to ask you to, because you've hit on the next one, which I wanted us to talk about, the male ego. What it is, and why some men need it massaged. Do you want, should we do that? Okay, let's discuss that.
The reason I'll start is because I did some reading about this. Obviously, what the men want is a very vague question. Yeah. It's difficult to understand. Fundamentally, we need to understand what makes a man different from a woman. Because everything we talked about last week, I want to be respected, I want to be heard, I want to be complimented on my perfume and everything. You know, I'm a guy and women want the same thing. So effectively, humans, we want the same thing. Go figure. The important thing here to understand is a man is different because of his hormones. And those hormones mean he will behave a certain way, regardless of other attributes of his life. So nature versus nurture. I'm going to throw a lot of stuff. Nature versus nurture. So if you had a man in China, usually smaller guys, and you have a man in Timbuktu or Senegal, they will have certain traits. And as Popola, the elder said, I'm so sorry, I got your title wrong. The gentleman said, men want to provide and protect. It's in their nature. Men are generally bigger than women, larger than women. Most of them, it's scientific, right? So when he's trying to go about doing that, and for some reason he cannot accomplish that, he can begin to feel he's not up to the task. Or if he feels like his wife's competition rather than an asset to help him accomplishing a goal, he might need his ego massage. So with John has already said it, know the person you're marrying, etc., know how his characteristics, but you need to understand fundamentally a man is different from a woman, because of his hormones, and that affects his psychology, how he sees things. So men tend to be more aggressive. Men commit more suicides because they can't figure out the solution, so they jump off a bridge. You need to understand. It's true. Do your research. So it's important to know why a man is different from a woman, how he's different from a woman, and how he would express that difference. One more thing, we have the same emotions, anger, happiness, joy. It's how it's expressed. That's the difference. So a woman may want to cry about it or talk about it. A man may want to think about it. But it's the same emotion. The expression is different. So women too want the same thing for the ego to be, it's not a man thing, it's a woman thing, but it's more prevalent in men to have that massage in a certain way, however that works for you.
And we have 2 minutes left. What would you like us to discuss? Okay, how can a woman support, even that question, okay, one question was sent in, how can a woman support a man to love her? Even that question is a bit interesting because I'm not a panelist. How can women help the man to express, so IB, you talked about the different expressions. how can your opposite number help you, facilitate you bringing out those human emotions that both male and female have, but men just express differently?
I've spoken a lot, so I have to let someone else speak. But there's one question I add to that. We need to ask ourselves as a society, what's the biggest problem facing men? You need to answer. When you answer that question, you'll then know how your wife can help you overcome that challenge. And it leads nicely into that question. So what's the biggest issue facing men today, at work, at home, wherever they find themselves? When we have an answer to that question, we'll begin to understand how it pertains to every man at home or your sons. Or whomever.
Fantastic. I've been told, thank you, sorry to cut in there. I've been told to definitely ask about finances. So I'm going to come to, who hasn't spoken that much? Okay, everybody has spoken. Okay, so I'll throw it to the floor. Please just talk generally about money, the importance of money to a man as an individual, so that this hits the singles as well, and in marriage, the importance of money. Should we speak to the millionaire first, Mr. Shote?
First of all, we have to remember that a man really wants to be a man. To be a man, money is so much involved. Now, it's first of all enough problem for the guy to think, I'm going to solve all the problems in this house. I'm going to sort everything. I'm going to pay you this, and you just need money for fuel, don't worry. And then it's not working that way. The real life, the reality we are in today is there are some women who are making 3,000 pounds a day and the man is making 1,000 pounds a day. Now, you guys are making a lot of money, but the woman's expectation of holiday is 3 times higher than the man's expectation of holiday. So, as much as we're talking about women's emancipation, we have to remember that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. When women are rising to that position, that they are earning that much, God give us the wisdom to manage it. Because, like people have said here, there's this man ego, you think you can provide. Unfortunately, you can't. You know? And how you manage your support that doesn't look like intimidation, that is not intimidating, that is not, and then how the man humbles himself to accept the reality on ground at the moment, and hoping to live better. And when we think about it, frankly speaking, you are making 3,000, this guy is making 1,000. You guys are making a lot of money. If you don't make everything about money, there is a way you can work your family out that you will have a wonderful time. So let me leave it at that.
Wonderful. Can we hear quickly from, yes, please.
Money answers everything. So money is good in a family. And I learned the hard way, I would say that. And thanks to my wife, she's been fantastic, supportive, When we got married, she was earning, I believe, if not 2-3 times more than me. And and things became a bit challenging. So, but what we agreed from the beginning, because also couple, you need to understand the dynamics of your partnership. So we agreed that, look, this is our money. It's not your money. It's not my money. This is our money. It was, for me, as a man, it was challenging at that time because I know, although it was our money, we agreed, but I was earning 2-3 times less than my wife. So it was a bit hard. But we understood this and we managed it. It works for us at that time. But as we grew into our marriage, things change. Things change means earning change, And I would say at the moment, I earn a little bit more than her, but
somebody said hallelujah.
The agreement hasn't changed. The agreement hasn't changed. So it's still our money, and we still manage it together.
Yes, John.
If I must add, I think, especially coming from last week, there was a lot about talking about earning power. I believe in this day and age, it's not just about how much you earn, because with globalization and technology, there's so much you can do with money And I think, if anything, the biggest name is financial literacy. Because if you don't have financial literacy but you earn a lot, even if you earn a lot but you don't manage it well, it means nothing. You know, when I started dating my wife, she was earning double than what I was earning. But I was saving more than what she was saving. Because it's about financial management. And also, more importantly, it's about your vision, your financial goal. It's an empire you're trying to build together as one. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, it's whether or not, I know people still say, you know, some men should earn more. But in this day and age, if a man or a woman is called to start a business or start a ministry, you're not going to be earning 100,000 in your first few years. You need the support of your other spouse to support you. You may even be pumping money into your business. But because you have a goal, you have a vision, the business is going to be the empire. But it's not bringing the money today. But because you have a vision as a man, you know that whatever we're earning together, we're piling it together and we're moving together as one.
Partnership, working
Yes.
together. Wonderful. Please, I want to hear from you two and then we'll wrap up.
I'm just going to echo what John said. The reality is you have to see it as one. And for me and for my wife, our money is my money. My money is your money. Now, it depends. I mean, at the end of the day, you can pour in 2,000, you can pour in 1,000, you can pour in 200. You have to see the end goal. This is an empire we're building. This is a legacy we're building. This is not for me. It's not for you. It's for Grace. It's for Ruth. It's for those that are coming behind them. And once that agreement is set, it's easy for you to see things in a different light. Not about us, or not about what you are hearing, or not about what I'm hearing, but what we are building to make sure these children are set in a better place.
Wonderful. Ade.
Yeah, I just want to allude a bit to the amount of pressure that men may feel to provide for their family, and that can become a lot. And I was there as well. When I'm an accountant, and I earn quite well, and I was thinking, okay, I can provide for everything, I'm covering all the bills, and then childcare costs hit you, and then all of a sudden, the things are the same. But as a man, it took a lot for me to then say, actually, I think I might need help now. So just understand that money. You have a plan for your money, but money isn't the be-all and end-all of that relationship. Have an understanding with your spouse and making sure that you're both together on the same page building, as these guys have said.
On that note, can we stand and appreciate these wonderful millennial and millennial plus men? Thank you so much. You may go back to your seats. Thank you so much.